Hey mathematicians, in this video I'm going to show you a couple of examples from this assignment where you have to find the slope and the y-intercept. So first of all, let's make sure we remember what the letter M stands for. Which is the slope or rate of change. They are both exactly the same thing, just with different words. And how do we find the slope or the rate of change? So remember, we need to find two important components. We need to find the change in y and turn that into a ratio comparing it to the change in x. Or another way of saying exactly the same thing, the way you're going to hear it in algebra in the future is rise over run. So first we need to just pick on the graph a couple of coordinates to use to find the rise and the run. And remember that you want to use coordinates that kind of hit in a corner. So for example, we don't want to use this spot right here because see how it's kind of like in the middle of the line? It's kind of hard to estimate where it is. You want to choose two coordinates that actually like hit in a corner. So this spot right here hits right there in the corner, so you don't have to estimate. And I'm going to use that spot right here. Now, I just as easily could have chosen that one too. I don't think there's another one that's really jumping out at me. But those are the two that kind of jumped out at me, so that's what I'm going to use. So I'm going to draw an imaginary right triangle. So my rise is going to be the vertical distance, right? So from here to here, and then my run is going to be my horizontal distance. So now I need to turn that into a ratio. So I'm going to zoom in. And as you can see by counting boxes, the rise is 2 boxes high, which means that my rise is 2. And then if I look at my run, my horizontal distance, again, if I count boxes, this is 1, 2, and 3. So my run is 3. So 2 over 3 does not simplify. So I'm just going to write 2 over 3 right here for my slope. And then you also need to decide, is this a positive slope or a negative slope? And remember, we start reading graphs from left to right, which means I start here and then I read in this direction. So this is increasing, which means it's a positive slope, but I don't need to actually type the positive number into the 2/3. So my final slope is just going to be 2 over 3. So now that we found our slope, now we need to find our b, which remember b stands for either initial amount or y-intercept. Either way, it means the same thing. It's where the graph hits the y-axis, which is right here on the graph. That is where the line actually, so where your line, ooh, that was really crappy. Where the line hits the y-axis, it's right there. So it's hitting at +1, so that means your y-intercept is going to be 1. So if I write this together as an equation, the y equals is already done for me. So I just say, remember that, sorry, I hit the pause button. I should back up for a second. And remember that slope-intercept form of an equation, you'll never get that song out of your head, y equals mx plus b. You're welcome. Now I'm singing and have allergies, so I sound amazing. So anyway, so remember m, we've already figured out, is 2 over 3. So this is going to be y equals 2 over 3 x, because that's part of the equation. And our y-intercept is 1. So we are going to say plus 1. So our final answers should all be listed right here in each box. So now that you've seen one example, it'd be great if you would pause the video and just try to work this yourself. I am going to assume that you did follow my directions and pause the video. And now I'm just going to give you the answer. So for the slope, I'm going to look for remember for the slope, I'm finding rise over run. So I'm just going to use 2 coordinates where it like hits in a corner. I'm going to choose those 2 right there. And my rise is here. Although I could have done it on this side too, just FYI. Okay, so my rise is 2. My run, my horizontal distance is 1. So you can see this is 2. And that is 1. So 2 divided by 1 is going to give me 2, which I'm going to write for my slope. However, notice that if I read this going from left to right, this is now decreasing. So since it's decreasing, that means my slope is actually going to be a -2. So now where is the y-intercept? The y-intercept, sorry, I want to change colors. So the y-intercept is right here where we hit the y-axis. And in this case, that is going to be a +3. And we know slope-intercept form of an equation is y equals is already there. We found our m, oh, sorry, colored over that instead of highlighting it. Our m is -2. We're going to put our x in there. And then because our y-intercept is 3, we're going to say +3. So there is your slope-intercept form of the equation. Please let me know if you got questions, guys. Sorry. You know I'm happy to help you.